One way someone put it to me recently was that when you travel by train, your soul catches up with you.
Trains go at the perfect pace, so they're fast enough to keep your interest and not get bored, but slow enough to see glimpses of other people's lives. It captures the imagination in a way that travelling by plane just can't compete with.
Oh my God. What is that? That's like an abandoned massive mansion.
What, that crumbly one over there?
What is that? I always see that and it really captures my imagination.
Hello, I'm Harriet, content lead at Byway, and I'm here travelling on the Great Western Railway service from London Paddington to Bath, here with Sarah.
Hello. I'm Sarah B Marks and I make videos about flight-free holidays and train travel for social media.
I'm going to pick Sarah's brains about how she started documenting her travels. So maybe we can talk about that first. Let's go back a little bit further. When did you actually fall in love with travelling by train and overland?
So it was actually during my master's course at Imperial. My friend said to me, "Oh, I've heard that flying is really bad for the climate." So I set myself the kind of goal of wanting to fly less. The first journey I did was a few weeks actually after my father had passed away, and my mum had to go to Berlin for a work trip, and so my sister asked, "Please, can you go with her?" And at that point I had zero experience with train travel, so I was like, that's so far, how am I going to get the train to Berlin? And I was not looking forward to it. I managed to book it. My gaze kept getting pulled to the window on this journey, to the point where eventually I didn't have anything else. It was just staring out the window, and I found it immensely restorative, and it kind of gave me that space for reflection, and by the end of the journey I had fallen in love with train travel.
That is such a lovely story. And I guess like from there, how did that passion evolve?
So then the next summer, my partner and I wanted to go to Turkey, so we set ourselves the challenge of getting from London to Istanbul by train. And it was on that journey that we took our first sleeper train, and it was so exciting, and that just kind of deepened our love for the journey. And also that's where he kind of also caught the bug for train travel. It was that kind of element of having a kind of more enriched and varied holiday because of incorporating train travel. And then from then on, just over the years, the more I've travelled by train, the more I've kind of, fallen in love with it. And now I would definitely consider it an obsession.
I'm wondering whether that is also some of the driving force behind what you do now, which is sharing train travel. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
I really considered it as a sacrifice that, I was just doing this for the climate and I'm just going to do it because that was the right thing to do. But actually, I fell in love with the process, and I saw that there was lots of people around me who also had that kind of default way of doing holidays, and I thought they would benefit from that. I wanted to kind of capture this romance of train travel in a way that I was seeing, but not in the way that I experienced it in a way. A big motivation behind it is to inspire people to be able to experience the joys of traveling in this way, in the same way that I have been able to experience it. Oh, it's brightening up, guys.
Oh, look at that.
Being on a plane, first of all, the size of the windows are like this, compared to the amount of light that you're kind of surrounded on both sides, different views. Perfect example was our route to Ireland. I wanted to film it, I wanted to capture that journey. I'd never been to Ireland before, and me and my partner were sat in Euston Station thinking, oh, this is a long day. Like, how are we, you have to get the train through Wales and then the ferry, and we're like, how are we going to convince people that this is a, fun way to go to Ireland? Cut to us on the train in Wales, jumping from window to window because we had the Welsh seaside on one side and then the Snowdonian Mountains on the other. I feel like it's the best way to experience a place, and I always feel much more connected to nature when I'm traveling by train, and something I really want to try to kind of communicate through my videos.
And you obviously, at the minute, are doing a PhD on this kind of topic.
Yeah.
I mean, literally this kind of topic. So I'm wondering for you, like, how do you see slow travel evolving?
So I think the future of slow travel for me would be split into two parts. One would be the fact that it's pretty obvious that we need to make train travel cheaper. And then the other for me is more about how we do holidays, and kind of, for me, I've been getting much more kind of enamored with experiences that are closer to home. And I think this route is a perfect example. On a route like this, you can have just as much kind of life enriching experiences of seeing something familiar but through new eyes. If I think about taking a plane, I do find airports quite stressful places. You're worrying about your liquids, you're often not going into the centre. I personally find train travel a lot more relaxing compared to flying. One kind of consequence of me choosing to travel in this way for holidays has meant that I've needed to be much more intentional about why I'm going on holiday. I've found a lot of my holidays are dictated by who I'm seeing, who I'm spending time with. Often it's visiting family and friends, which is much easier by train because you can visit multiple places.
I'd love to hear what you think makes a good travel companion.
Oh, that's a great question. They've got to be down with trains.
Yeah.
They've got to be into trains. They've got to appreciate the benefits of train travel, even if they've never done it before. They've got to be open-minded about it at the very least. I have the best train journeys with people who are curious, who are kind of looking out the window and kind of curious as to what we might be seeing, even if we don't necessarily find out. It's that kind of wonder of seeing a landscape maybe or villages that you're not familiar with, and kind of wondering what the history there is, what it's like to live there. Probably open-minded and curiosity are probably the two most important characteristics for me for a travel companion.
Love that. Something that you maybe feel about travel that maybe gets a bit of stick?
I'm not so much of a sun seeker, and I feel like that's quite a, especially British, feature to seek on your holidays. But I think it's overrated.
Nice.
Yeah.
And have you had any trips by train where you've thought, oh my gosh, the weather is so awful, but you had the best time?
Yeah, Scotland, Isle of Skye. This year in February, I went with my partner for our 10-year anniversary. The wind was so heavy one of the days, it was hard to kind of walk around because it was so heavy and raining, and we had the best time. And yeah, our days were structured around being outside in that weather. And it's exhilarating and invigorating. I like cold water swimming, so I made sure to do some of that while I was there. As long as the people that you're with are good company and you have a good attitude, it really doesn't matter what the weather is doing. And we just saw a deer. Oh, look at the 2 horses as well.
Some of the wonderful serendipitous moments that you've had that you feel like you wouldn't have got flying.
I'd probably say a few years ago when my partner and I went to Croatia, and we got the sleeper train from Zurich to Zagreb, and on the way back, because we'd booked a 6-person couchette, and I don't mind that, but my partner at that point was like, please, I just don't want to share with loads of people. So we just asked them, do you have any cabins that are free? And they said, give me 20 euros. And we were like, okay. Basically 10 euros each to get an entire couchette to ourselves.
Wow.
And the next morning was my birthday. So we woke up, this was from Zagreb to Zurich. We woke up on my birthday to views of the Swiss mountains and lakes, and it was just the 2 of us. And
in this 6-person couchette.
In this 6-person couchette that we had all to ourselves. And that was definitely one of my favourite moments of travelling by train.
Yeah.
Another one recently, I took the new sleeper train from Brussels to Prague. And I met some really lovely people on it. I met another train enthusiast who taught me all about what bashers are, very distinct from train spotters. Bashers follow locomotives by being on the train. And then I met a lovely Canadian woman who I was literally watching her discover the magic of sleeper trains. She had never been on a sleeper train before, and we were going through Saxony and the kind of following the Rhine River. It was so stunning. My most recent trip was to Cornwall, and one of my favourite train journeys in the world, I'd have to say, it's very short but it's stunning, is between, you can either get it from Penzance to St Ives, there's a direct line there, or St Erth to St Ives is probably one of the most scenic train journeys you can get in Britain. And just at the end of it, I saw a seal frolicking, like in
from the train window.
Yes, yeah. It's kind of the unique experience of train travel as compared to other ways of traveling. So
yeah, because obviously sometimes train travel isn't like plain sailing. It can be ups and downs.
yes.
Do you have any times where you had a down that became an up?
My friend and I, my friends did a group holiday, and my friend very graciously decided to take the train with me while everyone else flew. And our journey down was incredible. It was Seville. So we got the sleeper train down from Paris to the Pyrenees, and then had lunch in Barcelona, and the day train down through the Spanish countryside. Incredible. The way back, so excited to get that sleeper train again. It was definitely the highlight of the trip. Cancelled. Basically, the consequences that we decided to get the overnight coach. This situation basically like broke her spirit in a way that she actually got angry, and I was like, oh my god, like I've broken my friend, because she's so happy-go-lucky and always sees the bright side of things. And so it was a pretty nightmarish journey. Basically, we hardly slept on that trip. So then it was the end of the trip. We got to London, and we were kind of debriefing the journey, and she turned to me and she said, well, Sarah, I would do it all again. Because the journey down was so special that it was worth it. It definitely brought us closer together as well, and it's a hilarious story now to tell. The takeaway for me was that it was all worth it. You'll start to see more willow trees the closer we get to the River Avon. There'll be more willow trees now. It's such a beautiful place, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, favourite train route?
This one?
Great answer.
Right now, this one?
Any kind of view you're looking at in Bath, you're seeing the trees peeking into the city, which is so lovely. Nature is just ever present in Bath.
So nice.